Hello, I'm Daniela from the innovation team at Clubbing, and it's a great pleasure to receive Lindalia Junqueira, and she's going to talk about making innovation. She is the CEO of Leon's and Hackeando, which is the largest developer marathon in Latin America. She was the first Brazilian to be selected at the Singularity University in 2010. She's the CEO of Global Woman in Tech, a counselor at Junior Achievement, and she's part of the MIT Technology Review editorial board. Welcome, Lindaya. Wow, it's great to be here with you, to be able to share a bit of my experience with innovation. And also, in addition to all of that, I have three kids. Wow, that's great. Lindalia, tell me more about you, about your path. Wow, 55 years old. It's not going to fit the video. Okay, do a summary. Okay. Right, so I will talk about some things that have been important. My parents were from Portugal. They came to Brazil and they were very poor. I studied in a public school, and I knew that the only opportunity I would have was with education. So education changed me. I became an engineer and music. I studied both, but both have to do with maths. So it all made me what I am today and the purpose that I have of transforming education in Brazil. I was an executive in different companies, and then my husband said he was gonna leave me because I was a workaholic. And then I said, okay, it's better to find a new job than a new husband. That is why I decided to start my own company. I have some restaurants that my son takes care of, and I created Eons to be able to get the companies to transform. Because we talk about digital transformation, and I've been talking about that since 2005. I did the first innovation program at Rede Globo, and it was such a creative environment. Do we need innovation? We do, because one thing is to create square watermelon like the Japanese did. The other thing is to solve complex problems in a simple way, to innovate the internal processes and to communicate. And it was an amazing experience because we started with 9 crazy people. That's why it was called Inovi. And then we had 1,800, a very famous artist director and people from the shop floor. So there was, lots of different people, and we created 347 projects, and we received the ABC Innovation Awards. So I saw that with innovation we can change things, and those that are working every day, they know the pains. And from that, I was invited for the GP group to create the innovation department at Estácio University. There are many students. It was a huge responsibility. So we created new devices for the classrooms, Ethereum, smart TV, like you see in the Matrix movie. And we created the first pre-accelerator for startups in Brazil in 2014. And people say you can only do startups in the Silicon Valley. No! Where there is a problem, where there are pains, the great solutions will come. We had the first startup week, which weekend. It was a weekend. We did that in a slum in Rio de Janeiro. And there we got the Plataforma Saúde that was elected one of the most innovative projects in Brazil by the MIT. The first Bitcoin startup, Bit1, 2014, nobody talked about Bitcoin. Now they are in the crypto valley in Switzerland and they were given 40 million. So in the process, of innovation, the company has to change their mindset. They need to try, they need to provide room for other voices and visions to be able to say things and to bring the elements for creation. So all these things happen. I became an angel investor, a mentor, and now I try to make young people get interested in this new education. We have 750,000 positions in Brazil. And where are the devs, the developers, the programmers? Everybody wants these people. And many times there is an invisible barrier. People don't join the programming course because they think that's just for IT people, engineers. But we will all have to go through this logic of computational thinking. We will have to speak Portuguese, English, and Japanese. So that's why we decided to do Hack and Reel in 2018. We wanted to have several hackathons, 2,800 people in the weekend creating solutions for sustainability, health, retail. It was amazing. And this bug bit me, and it's the fourth year now in a virtual platform this year. So we really had an impact on many people, and many people found out their career and connected to the companies for real. Well, it has a very strong social proposal, right? Tell us a bit more about the social proposal. Dani, great question. I'll start crying. But education on its own has a social impact, but education has to reach everywhere. And in Brazil today, many people in the communities, they don't have access to internet. So now during the pandemic, all the tools that were available and were not used, they started to be used. Teachers had to relearn how to teach with remote learning, right? Adults, first we need to lose our learning so we can learn. So remote learning is different from face-to-face learning. Every 15 minutes we get distracted. Our brain was created for us to survive, so it doesn't spend a lot of energy. So you feel like lazy, don't feel guilty because you're lazy. It's difficult to change habits. If you put your wristwatch on the left hand, try changing. It's difficult. It is a process. So we were able to reach the communities. We got the slums in Rio, Prazer, Alemão, Maré. We made partnerships with several large groups like Vaina Web, Resilia, Crescer Now, that came from Hack and Reel. So we got the partnership with these groups and courses to break this invisible barrier. And hackathon is 42 hours of a marathon. People don't sleep sometimes. And you say, I don't know how to do that, but it's learned by doing. So people learn from one another. So I remember a case of a boy in 2018. He didn't know his career, he didn't know what to do. And after Hack and Reel, he started to do more and more courses, and now he is the CTO of the Eleva School. So you unlock. And it's so nice to have this connection with the companies because the companies have several good professionals. They have research and development. There are startup programs, but sometimes there is a problem that no one knew how to solve because the startups didn't know that this problem was there. And in the last Hack and Rio, Klabin brought something wonderful. Everybody talks about the 7 sustainable development goals, that we need to meet these goals up to 2030. But people say, no, that's not for me. this is not my responsibility. But you said we produce paper and cardboard, but we don't know how this is being disposed and how we can really recycle and create a circular economy. It depends on a chain of several other consumers and companies. So it's wonderful to have these sensors and trackers so that you can really monitor that and you can really change the world. So all the solutions that are created in Hack and Real, they are based on the 17 SDGs and we want to boost it.
Que bacana.
That's
Uma
amazing.
outra coisa que eu
The
queria que
other
você
thing that I want you to
comentasse
tell
é sobre
me
o papel das
is the
mulheres
role
na
of women
tecnologia.
in
Como está sendo? Aí você
technology.
faz parte
You are
desse
part
Woman in Tech. Eu
of
queria que você
women
contasse um
in
pouquinho
tech.
pra
Can you
gente.
tell me more about
Pois
that?
é, eu no
Yes.
fundo nunca fui
I
assim
was never a
feminista de entrar em
feminist,
movimento de
like
massificar, nada
joining
disso.
the
Mas
movements
obviamente
and things like
que
that.
na carreira
But
profissional ainda
in
mais,
my
porque eu sempre
professional
atuei na área
career, I've always
de
worked
tecnologia,
with
de engenharia
technology,
executiva, né? Já fui vice-presidente
engineering.
de
I
uma grande
was the
companhia.
vice president of a
E a
large
gente
company,
percebe que
and
às
we
vezes não é nem
see that
uma
it's
exclusão,
not an
né? É
exclusion
a falta
sometimes,
mesmo
but
de
it is
hábito,
lack
né?
of
Se
a
você tem um
habit.
conselho só
If you
homens,
have
na hora
just
que
men
vaga uma
in the
cadeira,
board, when
a tendência é você chamar um
a
outro
position
homem,
is
chama seu
open,
amigo,
you
né?
call a friend,
Então,
another
eu comecei
man.
no
So
movimento
I
lá com a Luísa
started a
Trajano
movement
do
with
Mulheres do
Luisa
Brasil, depois no Rede Mulheres
Trajano,
Empreendedoras
women
com a
in
Ana Ponte,
Brazil,
depois no MIA,
entrepreneur
Mulheres Investidoras
women,
Anjo, e fui,
investors,
de certa maneira,
and I
me inteirando um
got
pouco
to
mais,
know more
ajudando a
and I
inspirar outras mulheres a
helped
aparecerem, porque a
inspiring
mulher
other
trabalha tanto,
women
ainda tem a
because
coisa da
women
casa,
work a
da
lot.
família,
There's the
que muitas
family,
vezes
there
ela
is the
não dá
home,
conta
and
desse
sometimes these
lado, né?
women can't
E com
handle
isso,
everything.
ano
And so
passado eu
last
acabei
year,
aceitando esse
I
convite. O
accepted
Global
this
Woman in Tech é
invitation.
de uma brasileira,
Global
mas que
Women
mora na
in
França
Tech
desde os
is
12
from a
anos.
Brazilian
Já está
woman
em mais
that
de
has
100
been living in
países.
France.
Né? Vamos
It's
impactar
in
5 milhões
over
de
a
mulheres.
hundred
E você falou
countries will
necessário.
have an
No
impact
Brasil,
in
por
many
exemplo,
women,
só
and it's
20%
necessary
dos
because in
cargos
Brazil
da área
just
de
20%
tecnologia
of
são
the
ocupados por
tech
mulheres.
positions
Só.
are
Menos de
there
5%
are
das mulheres
women. Less
ocupam
than
vagas em
5%
conselho.
of the women are in
Então,
the
tem
board.
estudo muito
So there's an
importante da Rewife,
important
que foi feito alguns anos
study from
atrás, que mostra que se
why
não tiver
that
uma
shows that
intervenção, leva
if there is
80
no
anos para a gente ter um mínimo
intervention,
de equidade,
it
nem
will
de
take
igualdade, né? De
80
equidade.
years for us to
Então, vai
have
ter que ter intervenção. A gente, de fato,
equity.
vai ter que impulsionar que
So
mais
we will have
mulheres
to boost
estudem,
that. We
aprendam,
will have to
entrem
get
nesse
more
meio
women involved and
de financeiro, de
learning
tecnologia, né?
about
De ciência de dados,
technology,
e
data
que se
science,
posicionem, né?
and more
Ajudando outras
women
mulheres.
helping
Porque
other
tem um livro muito
women.
legal
There's
que eu
a
li, que é a
book
Arte da
that
Guerra entre as
I
Mulheres,
read
né?
that it's the art
E
of
essa
war
doutora lá
among
dos Estados
women.
Unidos, ela
And
descobriu que é a síndrome do
the
sireno panela. A
author
gente passou tantos
decided
anos
that for so
lutando por uma
many years
posição.
we
Sabe que
were,
siri não
you
precisa
know,
matar? Siri a gente põe inteiro na
fighting
panela e eles
and a
se
crab.
matam.
You put
Então os
them
homens
in a
nunca
pen together.
precisaram
You don't need to
nem
kill
se
them because they
preocupar,
kill each other. So
porque a
men
gente
didn't
achava
have
aquela
to
vaga, né? Se a
worry
gente disputar uma
because
vaga, a gente
we
matava as outras
would kill the
mulheres,
other
né?
women
Então
instead
agora
of
não, eu tô
fighting
vendo
the
mais
men. So
sororidade,
I
mais
see
empatia, mais
sorority
união
now.
nesse
I see
aspecto,
women
para a
getting
gente
together
transformar
so we
isso, e
can
é tão
make that.
necessário,
And
porque a
that's very
diversidade de
necessary because
gênero, de raça,
the
de
you
idade,
know
né?
when you
Também
have
isso alimenta
different
muito os
genders,
ecossistemas
race,
de
and ethnic
inovação,
groups,
entendeu? Então a
this
gente precisa
fosters
disso para a gente de
innovation.
fato criar
And
uma
we need
sociedade um
that to
pouco mais
create
justa, né?
a
Com
fairer
diferentes olhares. Então
society
agora
with
estou dedicada
different
a
views.
fazer o Women in
So
Tech Brasil
I am
funcionar
dedicated
não
to
para criar
Women in
mais
Tech
movimento, para
Brazil,
ajudar os
not
movimentos
to
que já
create the
existem,
movement, but to
para
help
a
the
gente
movements that we
fortalecer e
already have
impulsionar,
for us
né?
to
Conectar os
strengthen,
movimentos que já
boost,
existem. Eu
and
já era
connect
jurada
the
global
movements
e
that we
vi
already have.
projetos lindos de
I was
mulheres
a
da África,
global
de outros
juror and I
lugares,
saw
né? Eu
great
lembro de
projects
uma
from Africa
menina
and other
de
places. I
Harvard, quando foi
remember
assistir a
a
Copa
girl
do Mundo
from
na África, descobriu que
Harvard.
não tinha
She went
eletricidade,
to
criou na
watch the
bola
World
de
Cup
futebol
and
uma
she saw
espécie
that
de
there are
energia
some
cinética.
places
Então, quando
that
eles
didn't
jogavam
have
futebol,
electricity, so she
acumulava
created a
energia e
ball that
salvou lá a
would create
comunidade da África naquela
accumulate
época. E não
energy
tinha
and
ninguém no
it
Brasil.
helped the community
Falei,
in
como
Africa.
não? A gente tem
And I
projetos
was
de
like,
brasileiras
there
incríveis
are
aqui, cientistas,
amazing Brazilian
líderes. Então, está
scientists,
na hora da gente
female
mostrar
scientists.
esse
It's time for
Brasil,
us to
né,
show this
para o
Brazil
mundo.
to the world, right?
Lindalia, para
Lindaia,
terminar, Qual
Lindalia, to
conselho você
close,
daria para as
what
pessoas que
advice
querem
would you
entrar nessa área
give
de
people who want to
tecnologia?
join
Para
the tech
mulheres e para
area?
jovens que gostariam de
Women,
entrar nessa área
young
de
people that
tecnologia?
want to
Ai,
start
Daniela, eu
working
não
in
sou boa
technology.
conselheira,
I'm not
sabe?
very good
Porque
at
o que que
giving
acontece?
advice
Cada um tem uma
because I think people
realidade
have
diferente.
different
Eu só digo o
realities. I
seguinte,
just say
gente, o Google hoje
Google
responde tudo, certo?
answers
Se você
everything.
tá em
So if you
Quixeramobim,
are
ou se
in a
você
very
tá na
small
capital de São
city
Paulo,
or
você entra no
in
Google e pergunta
São
qual curso,
Paulo,
tem vários cursos
Google
gratuitos. Tem
and
até
look
curso
for
do MIT
courses. There
gratuito,
are free
né?
courses, even
A
from
maioria, inclusive, dos
MIT.
cursos e
Most
das
of the
startups
courses and
da
the
educação estão falando assim, olha,
education
eu te formo,
startups,
igual o
they're
pessoal da
saying,
Thrive. Eu vou te
I
formar
will
e quando você
educate
conseguir
you.
uma vaga
Once
que
you
você
get
me
a
paga.
position, you
Não tem
pay me
desculpa.
back.
Então, o
So
que a
there are
gente
no
precisa
excuses.
é ter
What we need
coragem, né? Como
is
diz
to be
Clarice Lispector,
brave,
coragem de
to
ousar
be
e
brave, to
humildade de aprender,
dare,
porque se a
and we
gente
need
vai
to be
ter que estar
humble to
sempre
learn
aprendendo. Não é uma
because
coisa
we
assim,
will
ah,
have to
aprendi
learn
isso, tá
all
bom.
the time,
Não, a
you
gente
know.
vai ter que
We'll have
estar
to
aberto a esse
be
processo de
open to the
aprendizagem
process of
contínua e de
continuous
troca
learning
contínua. Eu
and
estou vendo muita
continuous exchange.
polarização no
I see
mundo,
lots of
né? Olha só que
polarization in the
bonito que é a
world.
diversidade, assim.
Diversity
Daniela
is
pode ter uma
beautiful.
ideia, gostar mais do
Daniela may
amarelo, eu
prefer
gostar mais do
yellow,
verde,
I may
e a gente
prefer
transformar em
green,
azul
and we can
numa
make it into
terceira
blue with
ideia,
a
né?
third
Então,
idea.
vamos ter que
So
escutar um pouco
we'll have to
mais. A gente
listen
tem que ter
to one
uma escuta mais
another. We
ativa,
must have
né?
active
Respeitar os
listening.
limites de
We
cada
must
o timing de
respect
cada
people's
mas não tem
limits and
desculpa.
timing,
Levanta da
but there's
cadeira,
no
entra na
excuse.
Uhum.
internet que tem milhões
Leave
de
your
cursos, tem
chair, go
comunidades.
online.
Hoje tem
There are
várias
courses, there are
comunidades de startup,
communities,
empreendedorismo,
startups
né?
for
Então, você
entrepreneurs.
aprende
So
com essas
you
pessoas que
can
também
learn
já
with these
trilharam.
people that
Então, eu
have
acho que
gone
esse é o
through
caminho,
this
né? De não
path.
ter
I
medo de dar
think
o primeiro
don't be
passo.
afraid
Depende
to
de
take
vocês, de
the
cada um
first
de nós.
step because it depends on
Com
us.
certeza.
Absolutely.
Lindália,
Lindalia, it
foi uma
was
excelente
a great
conversa. Muito
chat.
obrigada pela
Thank
sua
you very much
participação
for
no
your
Festival Inovação
participation
Abim.
on the Innova
Gostamos
Clubbing
muito da sua
Festival. We really
participação.
liked your
Grande abraço.
participation. All the best
Eu que
for you.
agradeço, gente. Inovação é
Thank you.
colaboração.
Innovation
Obrigada
is
por ter a
collaboration.
Clabin colaborando
Thank
com
you.
tanta gente.
Thanks to have Clubbin collaborating with so many people.